So recently I learned this concept for not necessarily making decisions, but a way to think about your work by Alex Hormozy. If you don't know Alex Hormozy, he's this YouTuber. He owns a company called Acquisition.com. They're doing currently $200 million a year. Don't ask me how I know all this information. You can just tell that I am a loyal fan of Alex Hormozy. And Hormozy, if you're watching this video, thank you for all you've done, even though you probably won't accept it because how humble guy you are. But the concept is more, better, new. The idea behind more, better, new, and what I interpret it as is that when you are doing something, you have to think about it in a way that's okay. If you watched my previous video on, it's going to be called something like Aim Low, Do Less, Think in Decades. The idea of more, better, new is going to be kind of similar to this idea where when you are doing some type of work, you either need to do more, you do better, and you do new. The way I think of it is it's like a 3-step sequential order. The way I'm going to break it down is this. We're going to use an example here. Say if you're trying to become a better writer. Say at the beginning, you make a plan and you say that I'm going to write a blog post once a week. Okay, cool. And actually, we're not going to use that because I feel like that's kind of typical. Let's say we're going to go kind of extreme route. You're saying that you're going to write 250 words a day. Fair enough. You're writing a book. You have to publish it a year from now. You could do that. And what if you're not seeing, you test, you see, you do that thing, you're saying, dang, I'm not really getting the results I want to do. Just do more of that thing. You may start switching and say, okay, I need to do something new. Everybody says they need to do something new. So what do they do instead? They do something completely different. They don't finish the book. You just need to stay on that path. Don't do anything new. Just do more. They start writing a new book because they get bored of writing the 250 pages. I'm not making the progress I want, so obviously the book shouldn't be written and little things like that. They go to the new book. And that keeps happening over and over and over. Just a perpetual cycle of never-ending new books that never get finished or written at all. In this process, in my head, the way I'm interpreting this is more. You just do more on this book. So you double it, you triple it, you quadruple it. So now you're writing 1,000 words per day. Would it be unrealistic to think that if you input 1,000 words, that you would not have a crazy output in the future? It's not unrealistic. Next thing is better. Now you gotta think about how you can do the activity of writing better. That's the sequential step. There's just thinking about how you could write better. Now in the writing example, only thing I can really think of for doing things better is say buying a new keyboard, or you can learn how to type faster. That's another way to do writing better, right? You can start, tweeting things. You can start talking to people. You could probably hire a coach. There's different ways to do things better. See what I mean? Start jogging, remember, start thinking of problems and solutions as an engineer, like an entrepreneur would do. And I know that's what you want to be. Somebody can solve problems for other people. More, better. And what's the last step? New. That point when you go to new, that's to me when you kind of iterate and then you say, okay, I'm going to do something new now. So this is after you finish the book. So you say, okay, now I'm going to go to the new project. And then you say, okay, now you're writing 1,000 words. That's your baseline now. Okay, now it's like, dang, I'm not making a lot more progress. Okay, now you do more of that same thing. You start writing. You say, instead of doing by the word, you say, okay, I'm going to write 4 hours this morning. You're going to write 5-6 hours a day. You do better. What's the way to do better? Okay, I'm going to hire a more professional coach this time. Okay, I'm going to learn how to do storytelling this time. Okay, now I'm going to start posting ideas on Twitter and see what people mess with a little bit more and interact with a little bit more. Okay, now that's going to kind of spark my idea here and here and here. Now you have that. And then you go to new and you write another book and the cycle keeps going over and over and over and over again. The way I'm applying this into my life is that over the last 5-6 years of my life, I've been doing YouTube. I used to play Valorant. I used to play video games all the time, and I used to do YouTube. The funny thing was this. I always quit. If somebody had able to access my old YouTube channels, if I were to tell you, which I don't even remember half the channel names, I've had over 4 or 5 YouTube channels, 4 or 5. And they were Fortnite, don't judge me, Valorant, they were just anything video game. I used to stream on Twitch as well. And the funny thing is that if I knew this framework, I probably would have done it. but I'm actually doing it now that I've learned this framework. The idea, once again, is to just do more of the thing that you are already doing. Don't change it. I was already doing YouTube for nearly a decade, and all of a sudden I said, okay, no, I want to do something new now. So instead of doing YouTube, I was like going on Twitter and stuff like that, starting to do stuff. It's like, no. Just do the thing that you were already doing, because you are closer to the goal of getting it in the long run than you are if you're starting something new. And you haven't gotten better at that thing either. So in a sequential step, the thing I should have done more is, I'm not seeing the results of my YouTube channel because I'm not doing things. I need to do more. Like, you're not going to get anywhere posting once a week when a person like Alex Hormozi is posting 300 pieces of content on different platforms every single week. You have to set the difference more. You have to do more, which is more volume, which is more input, which will literally give you more output. If you remember the video I talked about generating your own luck, you will remember this concept. It was Newton's third law. Things in the Bible and inputs and outputs like a computer. You put an input in a computer, you get an output. It's 1 and 2. Newton's third law. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And then the Bible is reaping and sowing. So more. And then you do better. You find a way to up your ability to write faster. You say, okay, I'm gonna try to write faster. You hire a coach, and you do little things like that. For YouTube, it'd just be like, okay, find somebody to help me with storytelling. Read books on how to do YouTube better. And then new. That's when you decide to do something new. That's when you say, okay, I've done this for a while. I've gotten so good at this that you say, I'm going to branch into doing LinkedIn. I'm going to branch into doing Twitter. More, better, new. Just keep this in mind. Even if you don't apply it right now, because it took me a while to do it myself, and that's why I'm making a video on this, so I can teach it to you, so I can learn myself. Just keep this in mind for your future self, which is the most important version of yourself. Do what you want with this information, and have a good week.